unfortunately, Sovereignty weren't able to quite get that upset they're looking for on FlyQuest on the map of their choice. Now they have a chance, though, to try and tie the series up going on forward into our next map of Lotus. But Van's right out of the gate. Everything that Kamikaze was tweeting about, I mean, FlyQuest Red, they're looking like a unit to it. Like, that looks like a tough team to take down.
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of things, despite it being a very one-sided scoreline there for FlyQuest. It varied a lot between getting T-walls out with the Viper walls that you see towards the choke, or just straight out Viper walls on C side, and you just plow into the attack with the amount of utility that they have to support to really get a dominant scoreline here on the attacking side. I still have to tip my hat to Sovereignty, because they were trying to read that correctly. They had these moments like right here where they tried to do their trap play. They're trying to aggress a lot towards the mid garage, so they weren't really afraid to play against a pedigree name like FlyQuest. They were ready to bring up the fight. They just couldn't time it perfectly. When you're out of position, and it's hard for you to play that retake. And the anchored players did whatever they could there on for Sovereignty.
It kind of flexed out into this. I think this mentality where, yeah, Sovereignty is definitely trying in everything they do, but there's no way they're ready for this kind of thing. And FlyQuest was. That's why it's so night and day when you're like, oh my god, there's three, like there's a 2K. It's just FlyQuest, I feel like, read everything from the get-go on that defensive side and had control of the attack side, and that's the kind of game we got out of them. 13-3 with this new org.
Yeah, and it worked out there for Sovereignty that one round where we had some nice breach and Silva, recon dart, and punishing on that B main. I wish there was a little bit more of that coming out of Sovereignty in the mid round, right? So if you're trying to go for these trap plays and it doesn't work out, maybe wait for the next cycle that you have with your utility, with those double initiators that you're playing for Sovereignty. And then you also have a very similar way of playing the Flood retake, just like FlyQuest has in their composition here that you mentioned, Riv.
Well, the one thing for me coming out of Sovereignty that I'm excited going forward is obviously there is a really drastic difference in the experience that these teams have together. Yeah. So already if we're starting to see a couple of good ideas coming out from them, it's a team that just should get better and better going on forward. So Riv, going on forward, looking to Lotus, I'm hoping that we can see a couple of those good ideas we got to see come around and just expand on them.
Yeah, Sovereignty's pushing, I think, is going to play big on Lotus. They weren't afraid to take portions of the map, and it's a little harder to cover the extremities on Lotus as it's a bit farther, right? You don't have a garage to see long C, and et cetera, is ways to get back around. So it could be tougher for FlyQuest to answer as much, but then you got to look at their firepower, and it still becomes scary.
And that's it. The firepower that you have for Sovereignty, for me, hasn't been fully answered yet. I mean, yes, we saw some nice pistol shots, right? But if you're looking at the roles, we highlighted Miku as a main duelist with their experience that they had with Leviathan playing over in Game Changers in LATAM. What were they playing on Haven? They were playing Breach. So they were actually trying to come into a team, mix with that team, and try to play more support, where you're kind of like having like the Jake style for Cloud9, where you're cracked out playing a Jet most of the tier 2, you're going pro, you're playing it, or you're trying to go pro, you have an opportunity to play with Cloud9, and you're going to play smokes. Maybe that's something similar that Sovereignty is doing on that first map, but Lotus may be one of those moments where you might have to start bringing out that extra firepower with roles that Miku is comfortable with, right? That raise on Lotus is going to be quite strong.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see going on forward, because of course with Sovereignty being a newer team, even with experienced players, we don't really have too much of the background of what maybe we could see out of them coming on Lotus. But of course, FlyQuest being on the flip end of the coin there, we do have quite a bit of information about them on Lotus. It's a map that they have played a lot, especially recently, but I feel like too, despite how strong these players are and how strong the comp looked, Rivs, that the results are quite actually mixed for Lotus.
Yeah, we've seen FlyQuest always try to get a footing, even in their previous compositions with this. I think the raise for both are going to be big. Dodo Nuts entries, and if we're seeing how they played on Haven after Dodo Nuts entry there, I don't think Lotus might be. I don't think Lotus will be a problem this time around for them. But it will be a battle of the raises if we get that out of Miku. So we still could get a mixed result and get a third map here. I'm down for a bind. I'm always down for a bind.
Bind is so much fun, but we got to get through Lotus first as we go into our agent select. Hopefully we'll get to see those raises. I'm excited for this nonetheless. I'll see you two on the other side.
Thanks, Sierra. And yes, indeed, they have to get through FlyQuest and Lotus first before Sovereignty could have a chance here on Bind. And now we're keeping that duelist role on Hale. Miku playing the Sky at this point, but a mirror composition, something that we haven't seen Sovereignty play on this map before. What's your take now on this mirror matchup, Riv?
I like it. I think it has everything required. You have the Killjoys for whatever lockdown round kind of almost needs to be secured, or emergency round to really push somebody back or get into a site. But it's on to Dodonut and Hale here. You can't really expect it to be anybody else unless you have a Sky lurk into a site, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be big on how the teams work around their raises and support a raise. And if Sovereignty isn't ready to do that like FlyQuest is, I feel like Dodonut could just be at the top of the mountain on this one.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a very difficult one for Sovereignty. I mean, Dodonut has been dropping numbers on this map. Yes, we were mentioning on the analyst desk that, yeah, they maybe didn't have the best results. Being undefeated, I guess, is the bar that we're trying to set if it's supposed to be your map pick. But I mean, 5-2 in the past couple of months is still pretty good for FlyQuest when you know, they lost to teams like Newt that still has a very strong roster in that coming around. But now we're starting things off here finally on Lotus. We're flying across the map. FlyQuest starting here on the attack, with 5 players leaning really towards the C site and even doing a tell early in this round by putting the Viper Wall up immediately.
I heard that. You're like, FlyQuest? 5 Fly players would have been the cherry on top.
That's true. That's
cherry.
True.
All right, let's see what they have here for long. Quick denial on both sides. Ooh, it went off in the smoke. Interesting. Kind of canceled themselves out for a moment, but it's a cross-map play. It's good knowledge, actually, that we got Athena, or FlyQuest heard that on the right side as they work now towards C. This could be a crash here from Dodonut.
Oh, it'll definitely have to be. That's the paranoia coming in first, too. And that's the beauty of playing these two agents, the Viper and the Killjoy, trying to delay as much as they could. Vulnerable some players. The push coming out here from the A side, a trade-off, but a turret kill on the defense as well. Things are starting off really good for the defense for Sovereignty. Han is trying to help out with the crossfire. Kestrel continues to anchor well from the first map into the second one with 4 kills in the pistol round on the C site.
Oh my gosh. And for a moment there, it looked real weird. What's that? Chi walk into the site? It was like, wait, you're not on my team. This push as well. Athena was able to hear that, but still overwhelmed. They still decided to push. We talked about Sovereignty taking space and getting in FlyQuest's face. That's exactly what Haven looked like. And that time, FlyQuest was overwhelmed. And you got to give it up to Kestrel. I mean, a 4K and a turret kill in there? Let's go.
Yeah.
That's going to feel good.
That's why it's difficult to try to explode towards that C site when you have a Killjoy and a Viper. I mean, look at how those nanostorms are being placed by Kestrel. The snakebite usually goes towards the entrance, then the nanostorm that delays anything else that's going through while you're vulnerable, right? So keep an eye on that going through the later rounds. But as this was supposed to be a garbage round for Sovereignty, going with the anti-eco against FlyQuest, they still lose 2 players inside the B site. And now finally the actions calm down.
She's going to launch the dog for a second.
Just clearing corners, making sure no stones are left unturned. And with that, the last 2 players breaking the door, giving their positions away. FlyQuest trying to fight back, it not Han. So 2 individual players. Now the lineup potential denied by Hale. And Sovereignty have a 2-player advantage. And now the victory for the second round.
That got really messy at first. I love how Sovereignty was able to mitigate how much they lost in that round. They slowed it down because FlyQuest was playing for bodies on the ground. 5 people running into B. They're like, who, where, who, how? and they actually got quite a few right off the bat. Nicely slowed down there by Sovereignty. They get themselves another round. That is a defuse, though, so FlyQuest get a little bit more money in the bank here to shore up the utility for their gun round. This bonus looks pretty painful for Sovereignty, so it'll be really huge if they can win this one.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be a C-strap.
And you're right. It's very difficult now for Sovereignty with the weapons that they have. They don't want to upgrade too much, keeping 2 pistols. So focusing a lot of players towards this B and C side. And that's exactly where FlyQuest is going, as you've mentioned.
Well, there's one. That was quick. FlyQuest, they have this death ball peak strategy, right? They'll all be there. If one gets hit, there's still a trade. Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Kestrel's ready.
And that's the jump spot. That's something that's very basic, too, so probably aiming crosser at that top. Kestrel surprising some players, but just running through the door, but it's only good for that one single kill, allowing FlyQuest to take this A site.
Still pushing, finally into plant. They have Dojo utility for the after plant. Oh, I was going to say they almost didn't.
In a good spot now.
Yeah, Sovereignty surrounding. They're going to try for the attack here.
Yeah, make it expensive. Good for that one first kill to swing across, and Dodona's just ready. We praise this player right here on the numbers that they could put up, that she could put up on Lotus, and that is a nice one flick to the next. And one agent and one player to look out for this whole tournament and this whole map against Sovereignty. Yeah, see that basic peek? It wasn't even a jump peek at that point, so crosshair placement wasn't even needed to try to cut some players across, or catch a player off guard, rather. And that's FlyQuest with a nice little one round with their gun round.
Oh my gosh. Almost a lockdown here as we get into round 4. If they can source that. Looks like it is going to be a solo C play. 2-2 for defense for Sovereignty here. Good space gained by FlyQuest. They get to test out a lot of the utility and who might be playing towards this A side. And see what kind of work Mluo can get out of mid information.
Still a nice wall, and they're cycling the utility quite well here for Sovereignty. So the wall's a lot deeper, not allowing the Rays to get Dodo not getting any type of vision towards that A choke, and then cycling out the Trailblazer to spot more players. Now you're inching rotations, trying to anchor back towards the A site. And Lewis trying to go for a lurk, just got spotted, and that's going to slow things down. We're now turning the page to the mid round.
Han doing a little bit of skyward. Finding out who's at A, getting a quick tag. Now they have flash up for this B take. If FlyQuest feels like they have efficiently strung Sovereignty around the map here. Seeker's into play after grabbing that orb. Looks like he's the hit.
Satchel's in too. No sprays behind the Seekers for a kill. Paranoia being thrown by Chiyu just to slow Donut down. But that Seeker, she knows that Chiyu's just around the corner. Satchel to push her out. And a nice little entry as the spike goes down towards B. Athena couldn't get the backstab kill, but at least the post plant is still good for FlyQuest.
No one wants to peek. No one.
Oh yeah, we're playing behind those doors.
Oh yeah.
It's a revolving door, and what's behind door number 2? It's a Sky Flash.
All right, door number 3.
We're not gonna take it. Push it back forward though. Miko had enough of the shenanigans, and finally door number 3 is a surprise from Emily, and all of Sovereignty falling down from the hands of FlyQuest as they tie up the game 2-2 on the second map.
All right, I think FlyQuest, that was a kind of push and pull round for Sovereignty as they didn't know where to go, but I feel like FlyQuest learns a lot from that, and that they do hit a site. They bring a lot of potential to one spot, show themselves, kind of huff and puff, and then they go a different way. They go right into B, knowing it's got less numbers at that point. I think we might even see that again here. They stall, they come back, and they go again. Now that they have the Sky and the composition, they have a little bit more time to work with once they get to a site, other than what we saw in Haven, where it was approach the site quietly, blast onto the site. Now they can make noise, and it looks like they're going to here up at A.
With 5 players there, 3 players at least for Sovereignty towards this A site. Playing close range, we got some stingers. Little bait switch here. Flash being thrown by Miku. Here comes around the corner! And just in the front, at least those 2 stingers do enough. Weapon picked up. Athena is trying to open up the site. Works out for 3 kills with the rest of her teammates. And just like that, the stingers get fully denied. There's only pistols now to make the econ a little bit more expensive. As Athena's about to go head-to-head here. Sheriff almost 1 shot away here from falling into the hands of Kestrel. The room to breathe. Plant about to go down. 4 versus 1.
Spike planted.
Boopy. Oh! 1 boop.
And that's it. 1 boop and booped.
1 boop. I like it. FlyQuest, even that being a save round for Sovereignty, we have to remember that from FlyQuest, I like that they did not shy away from probably realizing that that was a door stack. They kept opening the door, running through to help each other, whereas a lot of teams would get timid there and fall prey to kind of just the flash and the two play that Sovereignty was trying to make. But not FlyQuest. They are there to back each other up, and that strength becomes very scary. Now back to our gun round, though. Full armor on both sides and a good amount of ultimates here for Sovereignty to change the flow of the round. A lockdown could really put Kestrel in a good spot to stall out FlyQuest here. Big push on A already from Sovereignty.
Yeah.
They are not waiting, and that's going to force FlyQuest.
Push and pull on both ends, and the push is from the attackers with the showstopper out from Donut. Look at that. That's what we're talking about. Those nanoswarms are so obstructive here. No value coming out of the showstopper, and you're forcing out heals at least from it on Han. It's a plant and a 5v5 retake.
Your waterfall lockdown. It's going to leave the back elbow of sight open.
There.
Or they have mollies for this, so if they can dump anything back there, it would be amazing.
Seeker is 2. Paint shells available from Hale, but she's too far out.
Oh, not enough.
That could have been huge to do some damage there, but window of opportunity is closed. At least the rifles were good for Sovereignty. 2 players falling down for FlyQuest. Tap onto the spike. Now smoke after smoke. Trying to spray through, trying to land those shots. And Han coming through with 3 kills to save that round from going in the hands of Sovereignty. And FlyQuest now had 4.
Incredible stuff. Even with the safety card of Athena rotating around, they always have a one. Whether it's Emulo or Athena, really playing the same role in that situation with flawlessly. Really, really amazing that FlyQuest can just continue to insert different players in different spots here and make it happen. Back down to a low buy here for Sovereignty. A little bit like Haven here. FlyQuest starting to take control of the map. And they'll be met again with aggression.
They saw the satchels coming through, though. Miko still gets that kill into Dodonut. Heavy pressure from Rubble, now activating Sovereignty to push out from B main and from C. FlyQuest now pinned towards the A choke. At least they have a turret to watch the play. Here's the close range battle, not checked on the top of the Rubble. And now, unfortunately, because of that, both players falling down, trying to make big plays, but get denied right away. FlyQuest moving into an open A site.
Oh, they might even.
Why not?
Yeah.
not?
Even for the low buy, they're like, you know what? The Sovereignty's done it enough. Don't let him do it again. You got Chiyu alive with the Sheriff. I'd do it too.
Yeah. And now that's Athena.
Scary.
Her responsibility is now to lurk around as the plant goes in towards that B site.
Toxin screen down.
All right. Looks like they've actually gotten out of the site really well so they can come back around Sovereignty. It's almost like they will retake a second time now, and that's the move with Athena. So nicely played. They should be able to stall this out in FlyQuest. Pick up the scraps here on the edge.
Yeah. Very EG, almost like.
Yeah,
Not
that's
wasting.
true.
It almost feels like a waste for these ults, but you're looking at the next round that you have.
Enemy remaining.
Viper's Pit and all still available. 3v1, 3v0. Available for Mlua before she fell. So they're in a good spot to still, cycle more ults going up against Sovereignty's gun round this time around.
Just see this opening. Really like the aggression Sovereignty's putting out.
Enemy remaining.
You can't allow, especially when a team has the lead, you can't allow them to feel like they own the game. You have to give them tough situations to play through and things to think about. Otherwise, it is over before it started. And Sovereignty is definitely putting up that fight. Back to guns, they're going to do it again, and they're going to start with an ultimate here.
This could almost be free. This is being read by FlyQuest. They probably want to challenge this pit because they have the lockdown available, and they want to maybe try to force the defenders from pushing out.
Ooh. Scary with that Vandal inside, just on the edge. You shoot, you're found. I like the paranoia ready from the right side of Waterfall, though. If there's any sound that Boopy hears, paranoia from Chiyu across that mound, and they can maybe get a kill, but nothing happening there yet. A nice dog in through Sky. So they know FlyQuest is playing at default a bit, and Hale gets found.
Hale thought that the Trailblazer didn't get spotted, and instantly the Showstopper was trying to come out and gets denied right away. And there's that pivot back towards a B and C. And it's going to be that 1v1 inside that pit. Boopy just waiting on the other side against Mluo. Meanwhile, though, the execution does come in from FlyQuest into this B site to start things off. Gets delayed, denied.
More delay.
Exactly.
30 seconds left.
Now it's lockdown time.
What?
Right in it.
What?
So they can
What?
spray it.
No!
The pit goes down and FlyQuest now enters the C site. Paranoia coming out from Chiyu, though. Could try to hold it down, could try to anchor it if she can, but it's a smoke that comes out on the attack, blocking the vision, allowing FlyQuest to plant things down. But instantly we're going in for Sovereignty. A 3 versus 1. Miku, a star player before from Leviathan, adds up a second kill. Back to a 2 versus 1. Athena has her own pit, but it's way too far. It's on the flank, so Mlua has to run that clock down. Turret just got broken. Miko at 69 HP, trying to look back down towards the water, trying to isolate that 1 versus 1. Gets spotted and gets flanked from behind. Great delay from Mluo, and they stop what could have been a devastating round there and a devastating loss.
That was touch and go from, I can't believe the ult was planted there. Everything started to occur off that first kill at A. And that is really actually cool to think about, that one play across the map, ult towards the left side of the map, make Sovereignty just think it's happening everywhere. So they did not know. Ends up over at the left side, and you almost get Miku with the clutch. Like, there were so many back and forths to that round. Yeah. FlyQuest able to still pull it into their favor, though. Great rotations, and it's always because they have a lurker. They have somebody that's undetected, Vansili. Yeah. On each round, FlyQuest continues to have that player that is their kind of ace in the hole, whether it's needed or not.
Yeah, exactly. And despite them losing that player, losing Boopy inside that pit, it almost still came into a round in favor of Sovereignty. So yeah, despite sometimes the reads being a little bit off for this defensive side, at least to start things off for Sovereignty, they have very good firepower to go toe-to-toe against FlyQuest. So if they could read these correctly, how these rotates are coming through, how to have right timings here with their ultimates, with the way that they're pushing in for control, there you go. That's like what I like to see. A flash towards the C site. Nobody's there. You're rotating out, and you're trying to bring the gunfight face to face. They might stand a chance. Not this round, because they have lower bodies.
And there are the fines.
Yep.
Through the wall, just damaged a bit, and take down that vulnerability. And now the rotation over towards B. They're just waiting for this one to end. FlyQuest, I think they've figured out there will be a push on Sovereignty on these rounds. The stragglers are very hard to find, though. Sovereignty is super tricky in these situations. But FlyQuest has that read now, and I think it's going to scare Sovereignty into trying to push a little differently or set up a different type of trap play than just aggressing up.
Yeah, you're right. They're aggressing up. Their line of scrimmage still stays behind a Viper wall on the A side. There's not too much going out from, hey, let's try to go for a full-out fight on the C side, so we could at least lock that down. So maybe those are some of the things that you might think about here, looking at potentially a timeout that might happen very soon here for Sovereignty, just to try to salvage at least the few rounds coming back on defense. Because if you're looking back at the results in the past year on Lotus, there's still good results going out on the attack, or for the attacking half. So if you're going to be able to pull out these timeouts and maybe get a trap play, I think you still have something else to be able to work with. It'll give you a chance here to get maybe 3 or 4 and put you in a good spot.
All right, Seekers is ready. This is actually really good, especially with the From the Shadows. They can move the map, and they can actually track FlyQuest pretty well in this round. That's something I feel like they've had a little trouble. Pings to the back of C for FlyQuest. That may be an ult for Emily coming through as the team hits the front side of the site a little later on. Still playing that spread 3-1-1. FlyQuest has been really good at dodging these guiding lights from Miku. Getting themselves out of position. They had a push from Emuo last round towards C, and now this push from Athena towards the A side.
All still very good, right? The flash came out. It spotted Kestrel. Forced now the poison orb to come out from Boopy, so that's less fuel to work towards the extremities. Opportunities for alerts. Opportunities for pushes. And with the fuel going down, you can now ult towards the C side hit. There he goes. Right in the face.
Oh my word.
Greeted by Kestrel and headshotted.
And
Donut
delayed.
Falls. And the alarm bot too. With the poison orb, the spray comes in through the orb. And Lua falls, and the advantage goes back here for Sovereignty. 2 players up versus 2 players alive for FlyQuest, and it's just gonna be mayhem with the defenders just storming through, flooding against FlyQuest, and the timeout wasn't even needed. They get the 3rd round here in the first half.
Kestrel is a whoa. What is that? Like,
I agree.
The frags first, the timing then of the molly plays perfectly. Then the wait for the alarm bot. Oh my gosh. And that first kill. And then gets out. Being able to play your life after that situation too, when you're seeing that much red, that's hats off. That's tough. That's real tough to do. Smart play coming out of Sovereignty players right now. Kestrel there getting some big frags to pull that round in their favor.
Cycle's too good too. You saw those paint chills coming out as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, great delays to allow all of Sovereignty to get together. That's what we're talking about. The head-to-head matchups are going to be perfect, but this head-to-head is going to be a little bit more different because Bo3 just got hit by the Paranoia and wallbang by Dodonut, and that's already instantly an open C site.
Plant down. Oh, wow. They're just... Yeah. FlyQuest does not want to give Sovereignty a chance.
Yeah, but that's a nice Paranoia that came in from Chiyu. It doesn't allow here FlyQuest to get position inside the pit. So more players are falling down, but at least the pit's still up. It's a 2v2. Paint shells onto Kestrel, and I almost felt it. There was an opportunity there for that pit to go down, but you got some free utils coming out that does a lot of damage still in this game, and that's the paint shells from Donut that doesn't make the dream come alive here for Sovereignty's retake. One more to go in this half as FlyQuest are in the lead 8-3.
Oh, very Haven reminiscent. They continue to capitalize on really pivotal rounds. This one, another one to solidify another 9-3 here. Judge from Hale. So probably up close in B. Yeah, Hale's going to try to get into that wing and just play a little bit of forward B. This is the first time we've really seen Kestrel lock up with this utility over it.
Yeah, and even the walls placed differently. So they want to try to delay alarm bot, nano swarm, flash, peek through. Works out for a bit, but for no kills. They get the info at least.
Slow play. Actually, a lot from Sovereignty just coming over to A already. I think they know the commitment just happened, and Emblem drops the judge.
There was a fake check there and still manages to swing back to get the kill with the headshot. And that's a plant now towards the B site. But an advantage still, I think, here for the defenders. They have the lockdown available, and it's moving its way up towards the B site. At the top towards spawn. Trailblazer clearing it close. Doesn't get the full clear towards the staircase. Chiyu eliminating the lurk coming out from Athena.
Wow.
And this is perfect now for Sovereignty to come in for the retake. Paint shells available for Dodonut, though, right into the bottom of the staircase. Paint shells being thrown. Molly's trying to keep FlyQuest back. Now we're running through Miko inside the smoke with 3 kills! And now the defuse coming across. We salvaged the last few rounds for Sovereignty, and it's an 8-4 half still for FlyQuest.
Switching sides.
Oh my gosh. I actually feel the anger from Athena right now, and then the scatter from FlyQuest because of Chiyu. That kill on the person post-planting makes the rest of the team defending scatter. Like, FlyQuest was waiting for post-plants. They can play safe. As soon as Athena dies, they have to re-enter the site and put themselves in positions where they were waiting on off angles, and they don't know where Sovereignty is. Oh my gosh, Sovereignty absolutely shreds that site. That was so big from Chiyu, winning the round almost on taking out that post plant. So
yeah,
really smart stuff to be searching for that always lurker from FlyQuest. So Sovereignty definitely learning here.
Sovereignty continuing what seems to be an aggressive push to start things off on the pistol round. But they were very aggressive on the defense on Haven. They want to now take the opportunity with that retake that they had in round number 12 to run with that momentum. 2 rounds that they've gotten without needing that timeout. Now the site gets spread though. Paranoia going back and forth from both Omens. A pivot back towards the C side. A delay by Athena. Dink through the wall down to 4 HP and is trying to stay alive.
Right in.
Right down. Dodo falls.
Yeah.
Fight towards the left. Site now open. And it's all Sovereignty's name across the scoreboard, leaving only 1 player alive left here. Rule from FlyQuest stuck at the waterfall. And Sovereignty set up here for the post plant.
It should very much be on Sovereignty's mind that they could win this game.
Oh, yeah. And this
They're
so
playing
good
really
too.
well together.
Exactly. If they manage to do this, Smith, on a map pick this time coming out from FlyQuest. A map that FlyQuest's been so good on. We talked about it at like a 5-2 record in the past few months.
Yeah.
They're starting to sweat a little bit for these rounds.
It's important that Sovereignty continues to play together. We talked about the firepower. I think that still lies in the hands of FlyQuest. If we meet enough 1v1s, you know, the troops of Sovereignty will fall. So these kind of compositions where they've got FlyQuest on their heels as they push, as Sovereignty pushes, that is. And they're going to see FlyQuest's aggression right now towards A.
Saving the paint shells, too. Trying to see if we had any audio cues from the flash coming out. And you want to save it for the C retake, potentially. You see Athena still trying to bob and weave here towards the C side, trying to jiggle peek. This is a good read by FlyQuest, working that map.
Ready? Are they using? Or they just dogged out? All right. Oh, no. They've got the timing down, so Sovereignty doesn't get the trade, though.
You got the trade towards the C site, too. So, yeah, despite losing one player towards middle and one on an island towards the A site, I mean, it's still your initiator playing duelist.
Oh, dear.
At this point, the flash is a little bit too deep. Now it's up to the last two players. I love it, pushing out towards the spawn. Bait and switch to use spawning here. One player moving forward. Paranoia now. You have to move in quickly to get the kill into Mluo. Look at Mluo just staying tucked in. Gets a dink on the Geo2. At 72 HP, Phantom now picked up a 2 versus 1. Given enough time for the teammates to rotate. Here comes a flash. Big flash. A swing out. A late flash too. What a play by Itnon Han to allow FlyQuest to get the thrifty.
Oh, my gosh.
Thrifty.
And they give it over to Han as well, making sure that this becomes a Seeker's game. They can track Sovereignty wherever they go a little bit sooner. In what round to lose? Just put you on a pedestal. Oh!
We're still casting cursing in 2023.
Sovereignty was going to have their few rounds, get to the bonus, be able to come up with something strong, and now they're already on the eco for round 3. Vandals in the hands of FlyQuest, looking to put that pain down even harder. They wall towards A, and they're just going to fake towards C to start, Vans. It's scary.
Yeah, and you're going to try to move towards the C side with a Bucky, pretty much, and Sheriff towards the C side. So you're hoping to get that pick onto Athena's jiggle on the top of the site. Satchels are about to come through. Athena does have a bit of support. Dodges that first flash, but not the paranoia. Falls back, but Emblem was still up there at the top of the C site. Easy kill. Second one there. Looks back towards the waterfall, but the trade-offs are still pretty good. Bucky also got to kill himself. And now Miku's stuck on a 3 versus 1. Good luck here.
Oh. Nobody wants to push it.
Played a distance.
Ooh.
Back to the Sheriff now. Trailblazer closing in. Also are the players of FlyQuest. Nice little flash. Still trying to bring out these 1v1s. And at the end of the day, Rick, this is what I want to give here to FlyQuest is the patience that they're working through this map and the discipline that they had to make sure that they had the right timings. I don't see so many of these big swings coming out from FlyQuest left and right when they used to play still under Moist Portals. And I think, again, it's credit to this experience that they had from Kamikaze in this roster as a coach right now. The 12 hours are paying off to work the fundamentals on top of the comps that he's cooking.
It's almost like everybody on the team has this tether on them that it either creates this 1-2 line or keep a triangle in the formation. And they're playing really, really well around each other. Even saw Athena on that kill. Just had, who was that? Han just down to the left there.
Yep.
So really good team cooperation, anchoring, and trade each other. As Miku gets the 1v1. Yeah, that's a big one to take down Athena because she'll be commonly lurking towards the end of this round if it wasn't their site.
Yeah, and also 3 rounds in a row, pretty much, that Athena's only jiggling that same spot. So when you're not jumping in the front of the ace or of the C site, you want to try to be a little bit more proactive.
Wow.
First, a little bit too far back. Those Seekers. I mean, it's selling that first rotation, but we haven't gained too much space for Sovereignty for the rest of the map yet.
Right. They're not moving, and they sold it real hard. Now they're getting a little bit of rotation out of FlyQuest. Numbers are in their favor for Sovereignty here, so they got to hit the site. They cannot hesitate on this.
An opportunity there, too, because Emily doesn't have the paranoia to work with, just has to play the off angle. spots the first cannon there of Kestrel. Now the flash comes out from the door, but support also comes in from DoDoNut. And that timing that they had, the opportunity to really flood inside the A side got fully denied. Chiyu with one paranoia, backstabbed by Mluo from the staircase, and FlyQuest have regained momentum and regained their confident lead here on Lotus.
FlyQuest with a great rotation there. And Sovereignty not wanting to show anything throughout the entirety of that round kind of came back to bite him a bit. The distance they had to run was already closed by FlyQuest. You understand it, right? They don't want to show that they could go A. They wanted a full sell C, but really weren't in position to make that happen as they got onto the A site. A push out now from FlyQuest. It could be our first big rubble battle here.
Paranoia flashes on both ends. Showstopper out. Goes long range and lands at the feet of DoDoNut. Emily trying to fight for her life here. Add towards the rubble. It's World War III and she still stands strong. Chiyu last player standing with 6 HP. The lower buy that they had. Vandal picked up. Nice little one tap. And a second one. It's a 1v1 somehow. Spike is down. Athena's on the flank. Do they read this? It's a TP out. The swing out just before. One split second more. Maybe an open sight. But Athena's there. Saves around for FlyQuest and puts them at map and series point.
There's always a lurker for FlyQuest. How? What they can do with the base 4 they're fighting with, or whatever numbers they're organizing, to still have a flank that is effectively in position 99.9% of the time is amazing. That is something I think teams need to look at. Like, if you have not found the entire FlyQuest team, be afraid. Oh my word, it's devastating. 12-5, another map where FlyQuest continue to use just brute force and that flank to dominate.
It's always that issue, it seems like. Sovereignty cannot find where all those 5 players are at. So he's still walking someone in the dark. But here it comes. The last final moments, potentially, for Sovereignty in the upper bracket of this GSL format in their group. Trying to save the round, moving in towards the B site. Miku's spotted just around the corner. A jiggle swing for the first kill. Han trying to follow back and trying to get that timing. Wins it. Only one left. Showstopper out. Nanoswarm to delay. Oh, just got spotted. Shoulder just around the corner of the staircase. Han swinging out. Gets the kill. And that's FlyQuest with the defuse. And the victory to kick things off in the Game Changer Series 3 here in North America.
Oh, 1 HP. And Dodo gets it.
They're gaming.
Oh, the jump together. That was clean.
The chest
that was
bumps.
like the slow-mo high-five chest bump. Yeah. That was clean. That was necessary. So FlyQuest flying through 2 maps, able to take down Haven and Lotus. They give us 6 bomb sites, use them all, and come up with 2 fantastic wins. Really cool stuff coming in from FlyQuest. They look as dominating as ever and as dangerous as ever there. And Sovereignty, for seeing them for the first time, that was impressive. Being able to continue a strategy, putting forward strats that gave FlyQuest a little bit of trouble and made them think a lot. Those 2 weighted out rounds on Haven, FlyQuest did not like. We saw them actually realize they weren't in control of the game anymore. So Sovereignty definitely has a lot going for him for the future. That was really cool to see, and I can't wait to see him again.
For sure, and let's have a chance here to bring you back our conductor here of this stream today, Sierra. Welcome back. I mean, now it's time for me to breathe. Guide us. Where are we going? Where are we going with our conversations here?
I mean, at this point, too, despite the fact that Sovereignty did take the loss, there is definitely a couple of really good highlights we got to see. Riv, I know you were like, oh man, I just put them on the pedestal right after. I mean, I got thrifted against. But a couple of the ideas that we saw coming out from them, I mean, there was definitely a couple of rounds where they were pushing FlyQuest around a little bit.
They were. I love the push towards tree. I like the way that they played towards long C. And this alt round was actually really, really funny how it played out. And the way that they were able to kind of get into position to retake B, I think, was one of their strongest. Like the way that Kestrel played it, or they retook B, and C. And I think FlyQuest recognized that and stopped kind of coming here as much.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at it from how Sovereignty's playing. Yes, maybe it looked like it was very one-sided victories here for FlyQuest, but I do have to once again tip my hat for Sovereignty on the firepower that they brought out. We did mention from the first map to the second map, Miku, yeah, maybe not playing the duelist, but still could be that type of like flex with the duelist aim, and they had it. And it's not only them. Kestrel did a great job as well, anchoring up towards the site, and Chiyu has been a name that I wanted to praise throughout the whole series pretty much, despite these losses. So maybe they had a little bit more of a slower start on Haven. They looked a lot better here on Lotus despite the score. But with the firepower that they have, if they could read that map a little bit better against their opponent, I wouldn't be surprised to still see FlyQuest and Sovereignty to try to qualify here into the double elimination bracket into close qualifiers.
Agree?
It'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see. But FlyQuest, I mean, we got to see the tweets beforehand. We know that they've been putting in this work. So being able to see the result, being able to get this 2-0, to be moving one step closer to that close qualification here. I mean, there's definitely a really good form shaping up here, Riv, that I'm excited to see fleshed out more in the competition to come.
It is, and I do believe that they're kind of playing at a bit of a tempered style that they're going to be using, the amount of util and things that they're executing, right? But other than that, I'm sure they had to use quite a bit versus Sovereignty. That's not saying that FlyQuest was not challenged. They were. So we had to see that aggression from FlyQuest come out, and it was pretty scary. They're going to be going pretty far in this. And I think that's their goal.
Exactly. I agree with you, Riv. And I think on top of that, too, I talked about the Sovereignty and FlyQuest, maybe a rematch to try to qualify. I'm not going to say that FlyQuest are going to lose here in their upper brackets in the GSL because they looked really good with Kamikaze, so maybe they won't meet with each other yet in this group, but who knows along the line.
Well, one thing is for sure, we will, of course, have a chance to speak with the victorious FlyQuest with Emily after this break. But first, enjoy our Prime Gaming post-match highlights. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our Verizon post-match interview where I'll be able to talk with the victorious FlyQuest Red after the 2-0 in the very first opening match here in Valorant Game Changers 3. We have Emily on the line to chat a little bit more. First, and the team. We got everybody here. This is a great day. Hello, everyone. How's everyone feeling? First game, first win of Game Changers done.
Oh, everyone's feeling great. Everyone's really happy with how we play, and it's all good vibes.
I'm glad to hear. The vibes look immaculate over there. And it's so great to see the core of the team still together. I want to talk about one change, though. I can see in the back there of this team, of course, new coach being added right before Game Changers. How does that change things up for this team dynamic and everything ahead?
Yeah, that's our coach, Kami. I'm just excited for everyone to see the new FlyQuest Red, because there's definitely been a lot of changes, and I don't know. I'm very excited. I think we're gonna beat a lot of people's expectations.
That's so exciting to hear. And I mean, Gami was tweeting out about the past 10 days just being hard work on hard work on hard work. So I'm glad to see the spirits are so high still. How have the past 10 days looked like with everyone together getting ready for this Game Changers?
The past 10 days have been basically all just grind time. Like, we have like 11 to 12-hour days, and then on top of that, people still choose to stay and play ranked and stream and all that fun stuff. So everyone's really like in the mindset of we wanna win this thing, and everyone's putting the work. So hopefully it pays off.
Well, with the long days too, it still looks like everyone's having so much fun. So, how has just been the team all being together? Have you gotten to do anything fun, or is it just been all about Valorant at this point?
I mean, to us, like, scrimming and pracking all together is our fun, right? We don't really have to, like, go out and do anything, and we don't really have time at the moment. But I'm sure, like, we have a few days after GC. That'll be, you know, when we have our fun, when the grind is over for now.
That's fair. And one last thing too, looking ahead at Valorant Game Changers 3, obviously it was a bit of a heartbreaking end in Series 2. So what is that biggest thing then, looking ahead for Game Changers for the team to make that change to be one of the teams that goes all the way to the end?
Oh, that's hard. I think it just goes back to how this GC I feel like we are more prepared than ever. You know, last GC we didn't really prove anyone wrong. We didn't prove anything to ourselves, and so this GC we're really giving it our all.
Like, glad to hear.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for talking to me before I let you go from the team. All right, we'll catch up with them later. We'll catch up with them later. But hey, definitely a fun game to be starting things off. We of course will have more Game Changers on the horizon after a short break, so stay tuned.
I wish for the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro.
Sean, do you mean this one, the one with titanium? Switch to Verizon. You can trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15 Pro on them.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us, only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.